Hello, dear ones. Father Peter John coming to you from the Bell Tower at sunset at All Saints Orthodox Church in Bloomington, Indiana. Christ is in our midst. The reading of the Gospel tomorrow is from Luke chapter 8. And I just want to read a little portion of it to you. It's a very, very first tragic and then very hopeful gospel for all of us. It says, "Behold, there came a man named Jairus, and he was a ruler of the synagogue, and he fell down at Jesus' feet and begged him to come to his house, for he had an only daughter, about 12 years of age, and she was dying. And as he went, the multitudes thronged him." That's Jesus. What happens next is that everybody is pushing up against him, basically keeping him from moving much, and then a certain woman reaches out and touches the hem of his garment. She receives healing from her chronic blood flow, and anyway, it's a beautiful, beautiful story of how this woman finds healing through her faith in Christ. Now, we go back to this man Jairus and his daughter. As Jesus was having this conversation with this woman after she was healed from her chronic blood flow, the servant of Jairus came and said to him, "Don't bother the master anymore. Your daughter has died." Now let's just pause there for a moment. We have this man who had obviously been following Christ, following his reputation, hearing the stories, probably sending out word, "Can you tell me, what has Jesus done today?" And he is, he's a ruler of the synagogue, right? So this is very risky business for him. He was going to lose his status, I'm sure, as a ruler of the synagogue in that day, if it were found out that he was a follower of Christ. Well, anyway, when his 12-year-old daughter is dying, he goes way out on a limb and decides that regardless of the consequences, he has got to get Jesus to come and see his daughter, to pray for her. It's his only hope. He finally reaches Jesus, and what happens? He gets sidelined by this other woman who has this chronic flow of blood, right? And you can only imagine what Jairus is going through at this point. He knows his daughter is extremely ill. He probably knows she's just on the verge of death. And he has to watch this taking place, this conversation taking place between Jesus and this woman with the issue of blood and the apostles and the crowd. He's got to be sitting there going like, "Oh no, I can't believe this is happening. You know, Lord, I need my daughter to be healed." And what's happening is his fame, right? The Lord's fame had caused this woman to create this scene and this kind of a stalling out of the process of going to Jairus' house. Well, anyway, so here is Jairus then. We find him. He's finally found the Lord. He's gotten to him. He's told him what he needs. And Jesus has been, I don't want to say distracted, but really pulled aside, right, by this whole other circumstance. And Jairus is told by his servant, "Your daughter has died. It's too late. Don't bother the master anymore." Well, as a father, I can't even begin to try to put myself into that kind of a situation and that kind of a mindset, knowing that Jesus could have done something and knowing that other people had kind of gotten in the way of that happening. I don't know what I would have done. We're not really told what Jairus does, except for we're told what Jesus does. Jesus says, "She is only sleeping. Do not be afraid." Well, at this point, Jesus goes to Jairus' house. He tells him, "If you only believe, she will be made well." And when they go to the house, Peter and James and John and the father and mother of the girl are invited to go into the girl's bedroom to pray. And as they're in there, Jesus, as he begins to prepare to raise her from the dead, and he says to them, "Do not weep. She is not dead. She is sleeping." And they all begin to laugh at him. But then Jesus put all of them out of the room, and he reached out his hand, and he called, saying, "Little girl, arise." And we're told that her spirit returned, and she arose immediately, and he commanded that she be given something to eat. What a awesome story of hope, of resurrection, of life, of light. We take somebody who's in the most hopeless imaginable position, this Jairus, putting everything on the line to get to Jesus, knowing that Jesus is his only hope, and then losing the opportunity to have his daughter healed because Jesus is ministering to somebody else. But then having Christ come to his house anyway and perform an even greater miracle than healing, Jesus performs a raising of the dead. Sometimes that's how the Lord works. We go to him and we ask for one thing, and when we don't get it, we are sad, confused, maybe dejected. Maybe we start to feel hopeless, when in fact what actually the Lord has in mind is something greater for us. So brothers and sisters, I encourage you tonight, wherever it is you find your heart, if you find yourself feeling like you are sad, alone, dejected, hopeless, depressed, whatever it might be you're struggling with, know that the Lord is in control, and that whatever he has planned for us is greater than anything we could have imagined. Christ is in our midst. He is and ever shall be.